Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how you can change the speed of a video, like you can speed up a video or slow down a video in React Native's new architecture for iOS using AVMutableComposition API. So I have already done this for Android, so if you are curious you can watch my Android video, but this video is for iOS. First thing which I want to clear out is that you will have to run this output on a real device. It will not work on a simulator, it will always crash on the simulator. So I will show you the output first. So here my app is building. Let's just wait. So here I have two buttons. One is called select video, so I will select a video, and if you see my code, I am changing the speed twice. So if it is a 15-second long video, it will change to 7 to 8 seconds long video. Okay, so I'll just select a video and it will start the process of speeding up the video. So here you can see this video is 15 seconds long, so I'll just select this video, and if you see, it has already converted it, and if I show you the length, it is almost 8 seconds long. So it has speed up the video twice. Yeah, and I'm running it on my iPad, that's why the UI looks a little bit ugly, but yeah. Then we have a save video button as well. So I want to save this video so the user can access it from a Photos app as well if he or she wants to. So I'll just click on the save video button. We need to provide access to the Photos app, so I will give full access, and the video is saved. So okay, now if I click on select video, here you can see there are two videos. So the first video is saved from our app. If you want to play it from the Photos app, you can go to the Photos app as well, and here you can see the 8-second long video. So I'll just delete it, I don't really require it. So hopefully you got the point. So first thing is you have to open this particular documentation, because we will be copying some code from this documentation. So first you can create a project using the by running this particular command, but you don't have to hard code the version. Use whatever is the latest version. Don't pass this version, it will use whatever is the version, current version, and you can change this to your own app name. You don't have to use turbo module example, so change it to your own app name. So I have already created one project. The next thing, if you see, it tells us that create a specs folder. Inside that, create a TypeScript file. So just go to the root of your React Native project, and here you can see I have created one specs folder. Now naming this as native local storage does not make sense in our case, so what I have done, I have named it as native speed.ts. You can change the name to whatever you feel like, but if you are doing this for the very first time, do follow what I am doing, because we will be using this name in lot other places as well, and the name of the file has to start with the word native, so that is important. Next, I have just copy pasted this code from the documentation. So I have just copy pasted this, but I'm not using this 4 methods because again it does not make sense in our case. So I have created 2 methods. One is change speed, which takes the video URL which we get after picking it from the Photos app, and here you can set the speed. Like if you want to slow down the video, maybe you can enter 0.5, but currently, like I shown you, I want to speed up the video, so I have entered it as 2. And then it will return the promise, the string of the transformed video back to React Native side. Now to save the video, you have to send this particular string which we have received from the first method as an input to the second method, which is save video, and it will give us a boolean back whether the video was saved or not. Okay, and this here also we'll have to change it with our own file name. We can't write native local storage over here. Once that is done, you just have to scroll down, and inside package.json you will have to copy paste this particular bit of code, and I have already pasted it. So here you can see I have pasted it, but again you will have to change to your own file name. So native speed over here followed by the word spec, and here we also have to write native speed. Now given that we have manipulated the package.json file, you have to run npm install. So just do npm install. Now I have already ran this command, so I won't run it again. Okay, once that is done, we have to do code generation. So you will have to cd to the iOS folder, so you can just do cd iOS, so something like this. Then you will have to run this particular command, bundle install. Again, I won't run it again, I'm just showing it to you. I have already ran this command. So after running bundle install, it will do some CocoaPod installation, and you again have to do this bundle exec pod install as well, and this will again do pod installation as well as code generation for our TypeScript file. Once that is done, we need to install I think 2 more dependencies. So here you can see I am using this React Native image picker, so just do npm install React Native image picker as well as npm install React Native video. So once you install these 2 dependencies, okay, then again you have to run these 2 commands: bundle install, so cd to your iOS directory again and just do bundle install, and as well as bundle exec pod install. Okay, just don't do pod install, that is for the old architecture. For this new architecture you have to run this 2 command again every time you install a React Native dependency, because both React Native image picker as well as React Native video supports the new architecture, so we don't have to worry about it. Once that is done, now let's see how to use it. So first you can just go to app.tsx, and here you can see I have imported few things like the text touchable opacity from React Native. Then I have imported native speed from our specs folder, and here is React Native video, and this is React Native image picker. Then I have created this state which I will come back to later on. Then here is our first button, so on press of it we just launch image picker. We are filtering by videos, selection limit is 1, and once we have the video URI we just pass it to native speed.change speed, pass the video URI of the selected video, and here you can play around with this value to whatever you feel like is okay for you. So once we get the transform videos URL, we just assign it to our set video URI state. So this is the state which we created. Next I have one more button just for saving the video. So once we have the video URI, we can just click on this button and it will save the video inside the Photos app. I'll show you the implementation later on. And here you can see I have this video element as well. So once this video URI is not equal to empty, then we are displaying the video element. You can just play around with the width and height to whatever you feel is correct, and make sure you add this controls as well and parse the source video URI. Okay, so this is done. Next you will have to go to iOS rnapp info.plist and make sure you add this photo library usage description permission. This is required for saving the video to the Photos app. If you are not saving the video, you don't require this particular permission. Okay, then let's see the docs again. So yeah, next we just have to open Xcode. So just go to your React Native project, go to the iOS folder, and here you can double click on this .exe workspace to open it inside Xcode. Once it is open inside Xcode, you just have to right click on your project name. You will have to create a new group and give name as native speed. As you can see, I have already created it, so I won't create it again. I'll just delete this. Okay, once you give a folder name, then you have to right click, new file from template, and here you will have to select Cocoa Touch class. Make sure iOS selected, Cocoa Touch class, click next, and here you have to give it name as RCT. Again, this RCT is also important. This is specified in the documentation if you want to learn more about it. And RCT native speed, and make sure the language is Objective-C. Click next and then click on finish. Now once you do that, it will create a header file for you as well as an Objective-C file for you. So these two files are created. Then again right click on this. Now create a Swift file, because our main logic will be written inside Swift. I don't want to use Objective-C for that. Objective-C is mostly used for bridging between React Native TypeScript code and iOS code. Then again right click, new file from template, select Swift file, click next, give name as native speed and click create. As soon as you click on create, Xcode will ask, do you want to create a bridging header? Click yes. So once bridging header is created, it will create this particular header file for us. Bridging header is required because we will be calling Swift code inside Objective-C. Next you also have to change the file extension to .mm, so it is Objective-C++. So manually change the extension from .m to .mm. Then go to your project again, go to general, and here click on this plus button, and you will have to change the minimum deployment target to iOS 18. Now I know this might be a deal breaker for a lot of you. Like the code which I'm using, some of the code which I'm using is only iOS 18 and above. I do have code for iOS below iOS 18 as well, but the problem is that code will cause issue if you are using Swift 6. Swift 6 introduces a lot of concurrency things which even I don't know about. So that's why I didn't know how to resolve that issue in Swift 6. That's why I just commented that code out, and whatever is the latest iOS version, I'm supporting from that on. But I'll show you the code in case if you are able to, if you have little bit knowledge of Swift 6 and are able to resolve that issue, you can do that as well. But if you're not using Swift 6, you can uncomment that code and use it. I just don't want to give a code which will break in the future. That's why I've commented it out. Next, let's go to the header file. Now here this entire thing I have copy pasted it from the documentation. So if you see, they tell us to create all these files which we have already created. Then this I have header file code, I have just copied it from documentation, but do notice they have forgot this particular thing. This is not present in the documentation, but maybe by the time you check the documentation they might add it again, but at least for now this is not present. And here you will have to write native speed, you can't use native local storage. Here also you will have to write native speed, and here also RCT native speed, and here also native speed spec. So make sure you have all this code. Okay, once you had this header file, then we again go to Objective-C ++ file, and firstly we import our header file. Then this should be your own project name. My project name is rnapp, as you can see over here. -swift.h will be common for everyone, so that you can copy, but make sure instead of rnapp you write your own project name. This is necessary for bridging Objective-C and Swift. Then here I have just defined one interface. Here is our implementation block. This copied from documentation, only the file names, only this particular names has been changed. This also I have copied it from documentation. Here we are initializing our Swift file. This entire thing has been copied from documentation, only this name has been changed. Then here we are overriding the save video method. Basically we are calling this on a main thread. So this method save video to photos has been defined inside our Swift file, which I will show you shortly. It takes the path which you are sending it from React Native side, and once it is success, I'm just resolving. If it is success, I'm resolving it as yes, otherwise I'm returning back an error. Okay, and for change speed again, we are doing this on a main thread, and then we just do change speed with URL, pass the URL of the selected video, pass the speed which we set from React Native side, and once that is complete, if it is proper and the URL is not equal to empty, then I resolved it as a result, otherwise I send back an error. So hopefully this makes sense to you. Even I'm not good at Objective-C, even I have used a little bit of ChatGPT to figure out some of the issues. Okay, so next we'll have to go to our Swift file, and here you can see I've imported foundation as well as photos, and here I have just extended ns object. Here we get hold of our file manager, because before saving file to the photos app we need to save the file temporarily somewhere. That's why we are using file manager. Now for change speed, once this method is called from Objective-C, we just get the URL of the picked video as well as the speed and send it to this change playback speed method, which I have defined over here. And if it gives us the updated URL, we send it back to Objective-C, which will send it back to React Native side. Otherwise I just send an empty string. So if you see the change playback speed method, we first create an AV URL asset, then we create an AVMutableComposition, then we get hold of create our video track, audio track, we get duration of our video, we get the preferred transformation of our video, we get the time range, create a time range, then we add the video track to our composition, add the audio track, then we just insert the time range, whatever is the time range for our composition video track, same for audio track as well. Then we just do composition video track dot scale time range, passing the time range to the duration, and here we have passed the speed factor as well. Similarly we do it for audio track as well, and this is for transformation. Okay, then here we create an export path, then we create an export URL. If file with same name already exists, we remove that particular file. Here you can change the file name to whatever you feel like. Now here we create an AV asset export session, should optimize for network use is true, output file type is MP4, and here you can see this bit of code works only on iOS 18. So this is how we export the export session, and this is for tracking state. So if you, like I mentioned, if you want code below iOS 18 as well, then you will have to uncomment this particular line of code and then uncomment this particular line of code. But like I mentioned, this particular line of code gives an error if you try to upgrade your application to Swift 6. That's why I've commented this out. Next one is saving videos to Photos app. So for that we first check whether we have access to the Photos app or not. So for that I have created one method. If we don't have it, we request access to the Photos app. So here we get the access. So once we have the access, then we just do photolibrary.share.perform changes, then phasset change request.create request for asset from video, passing the file URL, and once it is success, I just send completion as true, else I just say completion as false. So yeah, that's it for this particular bit of code as well. Yeah, I think that should be it. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye.